Voices rise with the engine fire. Every replay, every stand-up fight, nothing together on race night. In the night that the legends lead, or the underdog, every winning streak. From hometown heroes to the final line, we hold on till the end of the fight. When the string goes down, the echoes remain. Another chapter written in speed and fame. If you live for the more than the racing truth, learn to hold, grip that word. That's you. Sign of faith, let the passion stays. Another race in the broadcast haze till the lights go green and the mics ignite. Learn to hold, grip that word. Grips the night.
Streaming cyberspace into your place from Martinsville Speedway. It's the Virtual Grip Network's second round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's late model Invitational Series. It's season 34. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? Well, Joni Mitchell might just have her finger on the pulse of this series. For tonight, the BRLers have metaphorically paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Yes, last week's opening round winner, three-time defending champ James Lowe, announced in his post-race interview that he would not be going to Martinsville. There were times in this series back in the days when he who shall not be named ruled over these campaigns with an iron fist. That a race could be missed early and yet a championship still won. But those days are long gone. The talent pool now is much deeper, and those who race with water wings are destined to flounder. And while James Lowe is great, his cynics claims he's no short track Voldemort. The shadow he casts is not as long or as dark or as foreboding as that cast by one J.R. Shepard, and Lowe's absence tonight will indeed open a lengthy corridor of doors for new title contenders to walk through. So pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for someone that cats away the mice will play excitement of simulated SK modifieds at a lowless paperclip. A warm Tar Heel state. Hello and welcome on this Saturday night, April 11th, 2026. Well, it's Josh grinding his Buckley, joining yours truly, Bill Stubzon, high up in the VGM press box to bring you our words eye view. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is Replay Ryan Seneker, partner. You've been out there a little bit in the car. How's it feel?
Honestly, I really like the setup that these guys are going to be running tonight. You can really get on the wheel with this car. The biggest thing that we always talk about, it seems like every week with this car, though, is it's that right front tire. Going to be having to pay attention to that because these guys do not get an extra set of tires. So you have to save your stuff tonight, especially with the really hard right-hand turns here at Martinsville. It's going to be a lot of fun, and the biggest thing these guys got to watch out for is make sure they're not hopping that curb on the inside.
Indeed, we're always picking up new viewers, and my partner touched on it there. The rules for the BRL is you got to dance the whole night with the girl you came with. Got to use the same tires, so you got to save. We're going to 100 laps. Big Boy Racing, no fast repairs. You break it, you bought it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the points. Not a whole lot to show you here with only one race in the book. Basically, it just reflects pretty much the finishing order of the race before. A little bit of news for James Lowe. The bad news is he's not here tonight. The good news is what they've implemented is he will get provisional points. So we have, what do we got here today? 21 drivers. He'll basically get 22nd place points. So no worse than just having a bad night for James Lowe. A 22nd place finish would be rough. Good night to go racing. This is round 2. We have this, and then if I do the math, 9 more after it. Like to thank everybody who's watching live right now, even though their nephew may not be racing. That is a loyal fan when they show up just to watch the race. Ed Foster, who came so close to picking up a championship last season, looks to be top of the qualifiers right now. But remember, the grid is based on inverting the top 13 from the race before. All practice really tells us, there is no qualifying, let me correct myself, it is the practice times. All practice really tells us is how good the guy may be tonight. They'll take the top 13, invert them, and that's who will be starting up front. Lewis Flowers, also quick.
Yeah, big thing you're going to have to watch tonight is the biggest word I like to call it is patience. You're going to have to really take your time here, especially with this car. You can't really like nudge the guy up the track a little bit with this car. Just the pointed nose, it just kind of turns and lifts the car that you hit in front of him, and kind of just spins him out. So it's going to be really hard to make some passes here tonight, and you're going to have to be very patient.
Well, just to clarify that you can nudge somebody, as the chances are it's not going to go very well. All right, we can give you the order right now on the front row. Based on the last week's inverted top 13, it's going to be Todd Liston. Outside of him, Chris Hazlett.
Starting in third is going to be the 7 of Chris Davis. To his outside is the 36 of Jeffrey Harden.
Cucumber Kurt Smith starting in fifth. Lowell Jewell doesn't have a lot of career wins in this league, but he does have one here at Martinsville. He'll be starting in sixth.
Starting seventh is going to be the 49 of Ken Allen. To his outside is the 88 of Mike Holloway.
Really fast in practice was Lewis Wildflowers. He'll be going ninth. The Caveman, Trey Bloom, in 10th.
Starting in 11th is going to be the 06 of Chris Worrell. To his outside is the 75 of John Wilson.
Jeff Sharp in the Baker's Dozen spot. Bobby Hayes in 14th.
15th to 70 of Ruben Altice. To his outside, the 52 of Steve Hilbert.
He's got fans watching right now. He's got a long way to go. We're talking about Ed Foster down in 17th, but he is quick. Little brother of the Hilberts, Tom, starting in 18th.
19th is going to be the 79 of Adam Shane. To his outside is the 23 of Marino Valente.
And hitting blackjack with an ace and a face card. Good to see him back with us again. It is Jeffrey Happy Kemper. 21 drivers here tonight, 100 laps. Beautiful night at Martinsville. As always, I've had my traditional Martinsville meal, which will make me extra effective behind the mic if we have... Hey, there it is right there. Oh, right there, a little Junior Johnson moonshine on my pool table. That's some homemade potato salad as well. I'm nourished. I'm ready to go.
I could go for one of those hot dogs for sure.
Hey. Chug-a-luck, makes you want to holler, hi-da-ho! Todd Liston is out in front. The battle is for second. Hazlett on the top side. The 7 of Chris Davis underneath. Oh, this is going to be a good 1-2 combination up here with Liston and Davis, 1-2. The Lipper on the top side, he's losing positions. Hey, sadly, he hails out of Bakersfield. The good news is he's racing in third. It's Jeffrey Harden.
Yeah, big thing you're going to want to do if you're Hazlett right now is try to get to the bottom as fast as you can. As you see, everyone's going to try to just pile in. You see Kurt Smith getting in there. And it looks like the other guy right behind, I can't really tell. Oh, it's a little close.
Lewis Wildflowers trying to get in there. He's working hard. The Lipper saying, let me down, Lewis. But Lewis says no. Gets a good run off, and finally Hazlett gets a good run off of 4, and he gets down to the inside. So they are, oh, we got a little bit of a bump. We're not going to get a yellow flag. Getting some bad news was Adam Shane. He got together.
About with that. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with these noses. Like, all it takes is a little tap, and you can really upset that car that you got in the rear end of.
Shane got into the back of Foster, checked up, and then no fault of his own was tagged by Trey Bloom, who didn't realize. Then Shane bounces down to the inside, and I think the inside wall saved him, straightened him out, kept him from getting a yellow.
Yeah, it's just a part of Martinsville racing. You know, think you got the room, you put your nose in there, and then someone comes down, you really check up, and just it's a racing deal after that. Everybody's got to check up behind it.
Making a little noise is the quiet man as he tries to get to the inside. That's Jeff Sharp. Ruben Altice trying to pick up that spot. A little higher up, Lewis Flowers got underneath Hayslip, and he's going to bring along with him Chris Worrell. You know what? The success is going to the Whirlwind's head as Chris Worrell now has a new paint scheme, a real paint scheme, something fresh, not out of the standard iRacing fare.
No, definitely a good-looking car there, and he's just trying to follow Lewis right now. Obviously, we were talking about in practice, Lewis did show some good speed, so we'll see if he can make his way to the front.
Paint schemes are good, but they were all that important. Jeffrey Harden would never lose a race, as he is the prettiest car usually in the field. Look at this. We're looking there. That's the Adelaide Blade. Ed Foster trying to get underneath Jeff Sharp. Sharp is just leaving the inside door open. First it was Ruben Altice and Lowell Jewell, then Holloway and Ed Foster. Keep an eye on Sharp, maybe saving his stuff for the end. There goes the Canadian Goose, John Wilson.
Yeah, he's definitely, at this point, he's not really fighting anybody. He's just trying to stay the outside, stay out of the way. It might be saving tires, I'm not really sure, but he's letting a lot of guys go right now.
And again, remember the format, the way this works.
70.
We have another car going around. That was Wilson with a little bit of help. This is unusual racing technique from the chief, former police chief of Plain City, Ohio, Steve Hilbert. A bit more of a checkup, I think, Josh.
Yeah, pretty much a checkup. I can't tell who it was. The 70 kind of, gets a little loose with a little help there, and they stack up, and that's really what caused the 75 to go around there.
You know, what happened was Ruben Altice got loose in front of all these guys, and then they were taking evasive action, and that's what got them. That's what slowed them down a bit.
Yeah, it looks like Lowell Jewell just getting into the back of the 70 there. Just kind of a stack up there from Hayslip, probably just braking a little more than he anticipated. It just stacks everybody up, and it's a chain reaction from there.
So a lot of drivers involved in that one. Check timing and scoring. Papa Kenny Allen has been in the pits now for a long time. He's 9 laps down, but now he's come back out. Maybe he missed the grid. Sometimes that happens. He put in his initial stint in the VGN commentator's booth. Just, when was it there, Director? A week ago, I guess? Or last night it was, yeah. So, might have been confused. Might have still had his commentating settings for iRacing set up rather than his race settings.
I will tell you that's an actual thing too, because I'll have to remember that when I get back in the car, and I'm just like, why does everything sound different and everything like that? Well, yeah, I got to make my adjustments again.
Okay, so we're under our first caution. Todd Liston. It has been a while since we've seen Liston in the victory lane. A couple years ago, he had another baby girl, young little baby Soupy, and he hasn't been the same since, but I think she's older now, walking around, and I think things are getting back. He's starting to get into the old form. All right. Driver's choice. Liston has taken the inside. Mr. Aggressive, Chris Davis on the outside. Great start from Liston. Davis touchdown, secures second. Cucumber, Kurt Smith, stuck on the top side. There's room, a spot for you, Kurt. Clear in front of Lewis Flowers. He gets down there.
It's a great job by both the 7 and the 6 of getting down to the bottom as quick as they can. I thought Lewis Flowers was going to try to take that advantage to pin him to the outside, but he was able to gap him and get down.
The yellow and blue car down low, that's the Lipper, the Racing Rev, Chris Hazlip. It's the boss man, Lowell Jewell, up on top in a white number 2.
As we see someone get the outside wall back there, a blue car, I believe.
I think it might have been Steve Hilbert getting in there. He settles in now.
Oh, Lowell Jewell almost into the back of Hazlip there. He had to check out big time.
Yeah. Jewell now losing a spot to Mike Holloway. There's another driver with a career win at Martinsville. 3 of them in the field tonight. Jeffrey Harden, the 3rd.
As you see, Ed Foster's trying to work over Lowell Jewell right here, but Lowell's kind of holding his own on the outside here. Not able to clear Ed Foster, but he's definitely trying to work up. That looks like Lowell slips up there a little bit, lets him go.
Ed Foster, another guy with a little VGN booth experience.
Oh, 76 sideways in the turn there. He was able to correct it and keep going.
All this going on behind Todd Liston. Only 20 laps in, a long way to go. Go, partner.
Well, one thing I was really impressed with driving these cars, just testing out the setup and everything, is the fact that these guys can really send these cars in the corners. The brakes work really well. You can really just slow it down just enough, and then you can really quickly get back on the throttle. It's just going to have to be tire wear. You got to keep that in the back of your mind.
So I'll give you the name of a couple drivers who have been making progress. Lewis Flowers in 5th, Chris Worrell in 6th. You got Hazlip and Holloway racing about where they started. And then big movers down there. Ruben Altice up 6 spots, 7 spots for Ed Foster.
Yeah, riding on with Holloway here, the biggest thing that I noticed a lap or 2 ago that he did is you got to watch out for that curb on the bottom. You want to hug it as close as you can, but you do not want to put your tire on it. It'll shoot your car up the track, and he almost did that.
Gets a good run off a 2. Chris Hazlip tempting him. Just leave him enough room for Holloway to put his nose in there. Not enough room for Holloway to do it comfortably.
Yeah, you can see right there, Hazlip's kind of holding up a line of cars there. They're all starting to get bunched up. Hazlip's just doing enough where he kind of like shows, the bottom a little bit. You see he actually goes to the bottom there, but he was kind of like a half lane up to it. Holloway really couldn't get his nose under there, but he thought about it.
All the guys behind Holloway, Altice, Foster, Jewell, Shane, Jeff Sharp saying, come on, Mike, get the job done. We got places to go. I think Chris Hazlip realizes if he gives up 7th position, he'll be back in 12th or 13th before he'll be able to tuck back down to the low line again.
And that's exactly what it is. He realizes the car, the line of cars is back there. If he, one car gets below him, he's going to be stuck, and it's going to be a freight train from there. So he's going to try to hold it off the best that he can.
Let's go up to 2nd. There's not a whole lot to do in Bakersfield, and people tend to get impatient because, well, they live there. Jeffrey Harden right now on the back of Chris Davis. Gets a good run off of 4. Here he goes. He's going to try a little up and under. Davis is going to try to close the door. Holloway's going to have to dive it in deeper than a Chilean miner. He does indeed. Now Davis is in trouble. He's stuck on the top side. Cucumber Kurt Smith knows this as he's going to cut the right on the back of Jeffrey Harden's tail. Davis saying, come on, boys, we are only 28 laps into this one. We got a long way to go. Davis finally tucks down into 4th. Right in front of the whirlwind. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a great job by Harden there. As you saw with that back view that we had where, Harden just kind of entered the corner a little wider. It allowed him to get that, very much more narrow run exiting the corner, and just a great pass.
Uh-oh, we were talking about Chris Hazlip. Well, he got pushed to the outside. And they all got by him.
Yeah, it's one of the most frustrating things when you definitely holding people up, and then just once one guy gets behind you, you're trying to get back down to the bottom, and it's just a freight train from there. And it gets frustrating, but it's part of racing here.
Well, not only did they get by him, but then they quickly ran up on the back of Chris Davis. The 7 now, who was just up there racing for second position, now is under attack. Here comes the Whirlwind going to get underneath them. And Flowers is going to come. They're fighting behind. Altice and Holloway side by side. This is where the action is. Okay, Whirlwind gets Davis. So move Chris Whirl up into what would be 4th position. Flowers now behind him. Altice with a good run off of 4 because Flowers got held up by Davis in front. So now the quiet man, Ruben Altice, getting underneath. This is some great racing mid-pack.
Yeah, that's just a product of Lewis getting right to the back of the 7 there, and just he had to check up a little bit, and all it takes is that one little checkup not to get on the back of him, and then everybody else pounces.
We don't need to go there, but if you're a fan of veterans, Todd Liston, Jeffrey Harden, Kurt Smith, your front 3. We'll go there in a minute. Here comes the Blade. He gets into it and he straightens him out. He got into Flowers. Flowers saves it. Oh my goodness. The roses are sweet tonight, but behind him, it was Hazlip. It was too exciting. Too much nonsense going in front as he checked up. And with no patience for any of that was Jeffrey Kemper. Watch the Ada Kemper.
Yeah, that's basically what I was talking about with these cars. Like it's a sharp, low nose, and it can just jack up the car behind you with just the slightest contact. And that's basically what happened to Hazlip there. Yeah,
well, that was because Lewis Flowers was wilting. Can we get one more look on board from Flowers? I'd like to see his hands work the wheel. This is a tank slapper. Let's see if we can get on. To the right, to the left. I got it. Back to the right. Nope, back to the left. I'm good. And he keeps it going straight, but all that back and forth scared the lipper. Thank you, director.
Yeah, that's just a product of these cars. Like, you know, they're a lot of fun, but the slightest bump can really upset it. I don't know if Lewis was really trying to pinch him down there, but just a little bit of contact, and you're holding on for dear life trying to save it.
I think we have time. Can we dial up Chris Davis? I see him in available drivers to talk to. Chris, it's Soup up in the booth. I'm a little worried. You're dropping. Are you saving it or are you struggling?
You want me to show you my hand?
Oh, come on, man. You're in fifth. You going forward or you going back? What's happening the rest of the race?
It's lap 34 and people driving like it's lap 93.
I got it. Well done. Good luck.
But my brake bias lever's not working, so I'm gonna have to do it with a mouse, and that's not fun.
Oh, yeah. It's always tough to race with a rodent. Good luck, Chris Davis.
Yeah, that's definitely not fun to do, especially if he's got VR or anything like that. Trying to manually adjust your brake bias or your keyboard when normally you have a button or something set. So. Definitely going to be a little bit of a struggle, but he's probably just trying to save his stuff right now. Fifth is not a bad spot to be, but I understand what he's talking about with everyone trying to race like it's the end of the race right now, because positions mean everything, and trying to set yourself up for the end of the race.
Is that brake bias? Is that a one-time adjustment, or is it like IndyCar where you're going back and forth?
Brake bias is something you can adjust throughout the race in the car. It's just obviously if he had like a preset button that isn't working or anything like that, now he's got to grab his mouse, and it just kind of distracts you when you're driving.
All right, the pace car is in. Well, if metallic paint jobs mean anything, I'm going to put one on my car because we got 2 metallic cars up in front. Todd Liston, he's led every lap. Right behind him, the beautifully painted number 36. of Jeffrey Harden. Hold on to your hats, folks, because here comes the whirlwind. Chris Worrell on the outside. Look at Harden push him up the track, not letting him come down any more than he can.
Yeah, he's doing the best he can to try to hold on, but you're going to see the 6, coming behind him too. So he's probably going to get a little impatient. He knows he's got speed, so the best he can try to do is try to pinch down the car on the bottom and just try to get the run off the corner.
Harden comes all the way up into the second line, pushing Chris as high up as he can, and he secures second spot. Cucumber Kurt Smith says, all right, I see how it was done, Jeffrey. Let me see if I can do it as well.
Now you're going to see this train of cars behind, so Worrell's going to want to get down as quick as possible.
Little bit of a bump. Drifting up, but staying off of him is Mr. Aggressive Chris Davis. Stuck on the top side is Chris Worrell. He is the teammate of James Lowe. 3-time defending champ. James is not here tonight. We want to thank Aunt Mary Alice for sticking with us and watching. Hope you're enjoying the show, honey.
Yeah, Worrell's doing everything he can.
Oh, they were so close.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a hip check by Davis there to kind of bring him up the track a little bit and just see if he can get the pass off. And Worrell at the same time is really just trying to pinch him down so he's not losing as much speed on the exit.
Boy, it just, they continue to ruffle him up as the Adelaide blade draws blood. Ed Foster working hard underneath. And if you're going to do it down under, how about an Aussie behind the wheel? Now he's looking at Davis. Oh my goodness. Oh, there goes Chris. Around they go. Where they stop, nobody knows. That was a large percentage of the field. Taken out on that one.
Yeah, we were just talking to Davis, and we didn't know if he was saving his stuff, and you see Ed Foster just rolled the corner a little better. Davis wasn't really on the bottom there, so Foster put his nose in there and just contact.
It would have been okay. I think Davis had the talent to save it, but then Chris Worrell ran up on him. Holloway gets a ton of the pirouetting Davis. Lowell Jewell comes in, and that bounces Holloway down to the inside. That's where Adam Shane collects him. The Canadian Goose is involved in it. The 76 is going to take a tow.
Yeah, it's just a product of Martinsville. There's not a lot of room here. It's a pretty narrow straightaway. So when something gets, congested like that, there's really not a lot of room, and everything happens so fast. You try to hit the brakes, but it can happen so fast.
Director, I know it's a long list down there. Are you able to find Todd Liston? Can we get a hold of the ring? Todd, it's soup. You haven't won on a broadcast race. It's been so long. The car is pretty. Your driving looks pretty. How you feeling?
Well, I'm not a big fan of this track, but we'll do what we can do. I mean, we're in the best position we can be in.
Caution flags helping you?
No.
Okay, you want to go. You want it again. Good luck, man. We'll keep an eye on you.
Thank you.
He had a nice, comfortable lead, about 5 or 6 car lengths, which by BRL standards is about pretty much from the Atlantic to the Mississippi. And then the caution flags have gathered it all up.
Yeah, it's a frustrating thing when you got a fast car and you have a gap and you're very content. You're probably not pushing the car too hard because you want to manage that gap. You want to save your stuff for the end of the race, like we keep talking about with the right front tire on this. So when you see the cautions comes out, it definitely gets a little frustrating, and then hopefully you can keep that speed up.
Okay, side by side. Todd Liston, Jeffrey Harden. You want a big mover? Well, they used to call him the Magpie. First of all, because he's very vocal, and then in the city he lives in, Adelaide, they have like magpies that attack people. We're talking about Ed Foster. He's on 14th position. Very frustrated. Farther back is the 06 of Chris Worrell. It wasn't long ago that Foster had Worrell stuck to the outside. Worrell's trying to return the favor. Oh my goodness, Ed is in a hurry. He's right behind Cucumber Kurt Smith, and he wants to go.
Yeah, you saw Ed with a pretty aggressive move there, trying to, kind of do the block where Worrell couldn't get the run into the corner. I see a couple cars going around in the back. There's no caution, so we're going to keep going.
I hope he gets it straight. It's John Wilson. They get it sorted out. The leaders are coming, but they get going. I think the race stewards might have been looking down and taking a bite of their hot dog there, and they missed that one.
Yeah, that's just a big checkup there. That's really what that was. Big checkup, 75 checked up. The car behind just didn't react fast enough, and 2 cars going around.
Guess he never went all the way around. Past the halfway mark now. How long will Chris Worrell wait? Ed Foster's been in the league long enough to know the characteristics of the drivers he's racing around. 2 wide battle back here. Lewis Flowers, who was really quick, side by side with Tom Hilbert. I expect Flowers to get this done pretty quick.
Yeah, Flowers did a good job there, just putting his nose in the right spot and able to get the good run there, and just a clean pass there.
You can see right there, we asked Todd Glisson if the yellow flags were helping him, and he said no. Look at the gap he's opened up one more time, this time on Jeffrey Harden.
You saw Foster with a little bit of a look there into the bottom of the 6, and the 6 kind of shut the door, and he had to jab on that brake.
In second, Jeffrey Harden has a championship, as does Kurt Smith. Foster oh so close. Much too early in the career for Chris Worrell to have a late model championship. And your leader has not 1, not 2, but 3 championships, but they're all in the modifieds, none in the late model.
Yeah, you're seeing right there, Smith's kind of holding Ed Foster and everybody up now, and you see Ed's gotten it. It looks like he's getting a little frustrated with it. You saw him, wiggle because he was really trying to wheel it, get the speed out of it, and just clip the wall a little bit.
Well, he's not alone as they are starting to come behind him. Adam Shane, Jeffrey Kemper, side by side. Kemper the white car, Shane the dark car. This racing brought to you by Kurt Smith, who's holding up the line.
Yeah, I'm noticing these cars on the bottom, they're actually starting to drift up about a half a lane when they have a car to the outside, try to kind of not hip check them out of the way, but kind of bring them up the track a little more so they can get a clean run off. I've been seeing that a little bit tonight.
Look at that pan back, boy. That is some dramatic camera work there. The yellow and blue car is Chris Hazlip with Lewis Flowers going underneath him. Well, I was on my way about a year ago from Long Beach up to, I was going up to Sacramento, went through Bakersfield, stopped there for the night because that's the only reason to stop in Bakersfield. Wanted to see a movie. Didn't have any movies. I had to go to a drive-in. Well, I'm telling you right now, the man who is driving right now is Jeffrey Harden. He is starting to run down Todd Liston.
Yeah, I don't know if that's part of Liston just kind of trying to save his stuff. There's a little bit of a gap there, but it's just you got to be conscientious of that right front tire, especially as these laps, click off here. You just want to make sure you don't upset that right front tire because there is no extra tires tonight. So if that tire blows, your night is done.
Adam Shane leading the two cars. That's Kemper on the outside. Here comes the caveman, Trey Bloom, notorious for being fast at the end of the race, as is Shane. Keep an eye on them as they begin to move up. I'll say this, with apologies to Aunt Mary Alice watching on, it is a completely different race to commentate on when it doesn't have James Lowe in it.
You're seeing Foster go to the inside of Kurt Smith. Kurt Smith pinches him really hard. They kind of they touch there, but no harm, no foul. Looks like they're both going to get away.
So a cucumber is a vegetable, and I know that vegetables can't bruise while fruits can. So Kurt Smith is okay on that one.
Yeah, that's just a product of what I was talking about. Ed Foster is kind of getting impatient, behind him. The laps are logging down, and he's really congested. He's watching the cars in front of him drive away. Ed's like, I know I'm faster, so at some point, you got to make a move. And that was probably about, it's not the cleanest move, but it's probably about as clean as you can do when you have someone really just trying to hold you up.
Ed Foster wanted so badly to get around Smith, and I think maybe that was his need to do so was increased with he could feel the warm, romantic breath of Chris Worrell on his neck.
Yeah, when you got a car holding you up like that, it gets a little frustrating. I'm a firm believer in something that up in the Northeast we call the 3-tap Teddy rule. Anybody up here probably knows what that is. First tap, I'm there. Second tap, you're in my way. Third tap, I'm moving you. And that's almost what happened there.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a lot harder on these cars to do because I keep talking about the way the noses are pointed on these. So it's not as easy to do as in like the modifieds I like to drive a lot, but it can be done.
Yeah, they're beginning to run the leaders down fast. I'm going to try that next time I go to Disneyland. I'm waiting to go on Space Mountain. I'm just going to, after I tap the person in front of me 3 times, they got to get out of the way.
You just might need to inform them on that rule because especially if they're not from the Northeast, they might not know that.
Okay. Well, I'll do it at Coney Island then. All right. Ruben Altice and Kurt Smith, they're trying to run down, but the action is up front and the laps are ticking away. Lap number 74.
Yeah, Ed Foster's coming at this point.
Coming across the line, working lap number 75, and he's led all of them, is Todd Liston.
Yeah, Liston's got to be watching his rearview mirror because it is getting a little more filled there. Ed Foster might be coming at this point. You got to watch out for that.
Oh, I think Liston's best friend right now is Jeffrey Harden, as he's a little bit of a buffer between the guys who are coming.
And on top of that, you got to look at who's sitting right behind Ed Foster, following him in the footsteps there.
Yep. The question is Harden giving it all he's got, or is he just waiting? Boy, he gets a good run through 1 and 2, closing in, then he loses a little bit on corner exit. I think Jeffrey Harden beginning to race.
Yeah, what you're watching Harden do is really just kind of like almost arc into the corners. He's not really going to the bottom right away, as you see Liston doing the same thing. It's just you kind of arc in, so it helps you get a more straight exit off with the most amount of speed you can and try to hold off the guy behind you.
The gap from Liston to Harden now 2 car lengths. He knocked off a full car length that lap. Lap traffic ahead of Steve Hilbert, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. Director, you know what time it is. If you're thinking about winning, get the mirror ball spinning. Grip the groove. Make your move. They're a little bit behind the times, and Bakersfield, I don't know if they can boogie, but he's waltzing his way to the lead. It's Jeffrey Harden, because it's time to boogie. Here he goes. Tell me you didn't hear the music.
Yeah, you saw Harden there kind of show his nose like, hey, I'm coming, try to see if he spooks him into the corner. Harden's going to actually look at the inside right now.
In the popcorn position, watching the show, is Ed Foster. He's going to have to force the issue as Harden. What was once a 4-car length lead is now a half-car length. Martinsville, no arrow push, right, for Harden. It's all about virtual or mechanical grip, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no error issues here.
The plot thickens. Announcing his presence as the quiet man, Ruben Altice. A bump. He pushes Liston out of the way, does Jeffrey Harden. He's going to get credited with leading the lap. New leader. Oh, the Bakersfield boy. Jeffrey Harden out in front. From the other side of the globe, Ed Foster follows him through.
Yeah, this is the worst place you want to be right now, is stuck to that outside. You're frustrated. You know you have speed, but you're on the outside, and you got cars. Just the freight train keeps coming, and the biggest thing you're trying to do is get to the bottom, and you just can't.
Bakersfield boy, Jeffrey Harden out in front. The Adelaide Blade, Ed Foster in second. The Whirlwind, side by side with Mr. Consistency, Todd Liston. Chris Whirlwind gets the best of that. Oh, how quickly your race can go south. Todd Liston led 82 laps, and now is going to be lucky to finish in the top 5. Baby Soupy crying from the cradle.
Well, he's able to get to the bottom there finally. He's probably a little frustrated, but it could have definitely been worse. He was able to run off the 70 there and just be able to clear him and get back to the bottom.
Jeffrey Harden out front, Foster right behind him. The laps continue to tick away. We have, coming across the line, 11 to go. 12 to go. My math is wrong.
Ed's been pretty fast tonight, so I don't know if he's just trying to cool his stuff down a little bit, see if he can kind of get his tires back under him. Then he's going to try to go after Harden there, or if he kind of burned up his stuff.
My daddy always taught me, passing the leader is like trying to milk a rooster. The hard part starts once you catch it. A little bit of a bump down there from Chris Whirl. He wants some rooster milk. Ed Foster said, hang on a minute, I'll get the job done. You can follow me through.
Yeah, you saw Harden in that last corner. He kind of really just, arced it in wide, and Ed Foster thought about throwing his nose there, jabbed on the brake in the last second.
How much did Jeffrey Harden use up to try to get around Todd Liston? Liston dropping like a pigeon right now, under attack from Ruben Altice for 4th.
We got a lap car. It looks like it might come into effect here late, which is definitely not what Harden wants to see.
Steve Hilbert says, I'm going to park it right over here, boys. You got to lift a little bit, Steve. You don't want to get to him in the corner. Boy, he personally pulls it over almost.
Yeah, it looks like
he goes down pit road. Yeah. Well, he's a policeman, and he's well aware of how to get people to pull over, so he practiced it himself.
No, it's a great respectful job by him. I don't know if that was a planned pit stop or anything like that, but knowing the leaders are coming like that, you don't want to be, the cause of someone losing a race like that by just being in the way. So definitely a respectful move by him.
With apologies to the rest of the field, we're going to stay focused up top. Will Ed Foster force the issue? Will he have a choice not to with Chris Worrell behind him? Jeffrey Harden, a veteran.
What I'm watching Harden do is really enter the corner wide. Like, you don't even see him get to the bottom right there. And that's really going to open up for Ed Foster to really look there, and that can cause a problem.
One of the few drivers here tonight with a BRL late model win at Martinsville. Oh, whirlwind. Look at the blocking by Ed Foster. And the whirlwind, that's not on my book.
Oh, that was a
Listen, get the bit of it. This is ugly from the front and ugly from the back. This was a clear block.
That was a block gone wrong right there.
Yeah. Let's look at this for a while. There's the move, and there's the defend. He's there, though. He's in front. I'll give Foster that much. He's going straight.
Yeah, that honestly looks like a little bit of a misjudged on when we should brake for that corner. One car went and tapped the brake pedal, and the other did not. And two race cars right there.
Josh, is the unusual racing line, here we'll watch it again, is the tight line that Foster is on, does he need to brake earlier than he would if he was on the outside?
Not necessarily brake earlier, but these cars actually do a pretty good job with the braking, so you shouldn't have to brake earlier, especially where you don't have a car to your outside. You can kind of drift up if you need to. Just Ed tried to hold position there with a couple laps to go, and Worrell going, I kind of want that, I had the run. And then you make the block, and that's part of racing, unfortunately, sometimes.
Let's see quickly if we can dial up our leader, Jeffrey Harden. See if we can. Jeff, real quick, it's soup up here in the booth. All right, well, you got a newcomer now. You got Ruben Altice. How you feeling?
2 laps, I don't feel too bad. I've been saving. I was doing everything I could to keep Ed and those guys stacked up, so I didn't have to fight with them too hard. Let them fight with amongst themselves. 4
winners here in a late model tonight. You are one of them. This is going to be your second win if you can pull it off. Go get them.
Thanks, Soup.
All right.
I do have to say, I really like the blue on that car.
Indeed. Well, pretty much the streets look like the moon landing right now. There's nobody out there, all of Bakersfield in their homes or their local watering holes watching this broadcast to cheer on their man, Jeffrey Harden.
Good news for Harden here. He does have control of the start, so he can try to get a jump on the 70 here and see if he can really gap him, and just after that, just stay on the bottom and don't let anybody move you.
If there is one driver you would want behind you in this situation, everyone would pick Cucumber Kurt Smith. He is not going to give Jeffrey a hard time as much as he wants to win. He'll be very polite. He gives Harden a little bit of a bump, tell him to get going. Nothing wrong with that. And no! He gets into Liston. Smith spins off. Ruben Altice is out in front. We're not done yet. Pretty much, we only get one here. Oh, are we done? Rolling around, getting the win is going to be Ruben Altice. He's got to work his way around the traffic in front of him.
Now this is going to be a little hairy here and chaotic, but
he's going again. We'll go a replay before we go to break. Was like A.J. Foyt at Indianapolis in 1964 trying to weave his way through the chaos to get the win. You never know what's going to happen at a BRL race, especially when James Lowe is not here. Ruben Altice gets the win in a chaotic round 2. We're going to look at it again from the restart of that green-white checker. Partner, what do you see?
Yeah, looking he gets a good run on the corner. It just I think it's a little bit of a race. I don't know if tires are spinning and he comes down and it just right rears hard in there, and once you're right rear like that, you're just kind of holding on at that point.
Here's our
just
shot.
backs
Here's our
everybody
camera.
up.
Now look at Smith. Gives him a little help, then he backs off. Maybe Altice comes down and...
Yeah, it looks like the 70 might have maybe spun his tires. I'm not really sure if that could have happened, especially, you know, with the old tires like that, and just comes down a little bit, and that's all it takes. That left front to the right rear, and you go around.
Oh my goodness. It is the Blues Brothers. That is, I don't know who makes it. You see Kurt Smith and Ruben Altice rolling through. Nobody else survives. It's like an Agatha Christie novel. And then there were two. Well, it maybe wasn't the prettiest of races. It maybe wasn't the cleanest of races, but it certainly was no shortage of drama. The race is over. The broadcast is now. We'll take a short break, come back and run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the Martinsville gate. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway and the Virtual Grip Network's second round coverage. And what a race it was of the Bootleg Racing League Late Model Invitational Series. It's their 34th campaign. With that said, the results are in. Let's give them to you now. He started in 16th position. He worked his way all the way up into second for a green-white checker. Then all heck broke out Ruben Altice and Kurt Smith were able to survive. They go 1 and 2. Everybody else caught up in the field. Somehow Adam Shane worked his way through all the carnage, and he gets a third place from 19th. That's what he does. Todd Liston and Lewis Flowers. Liston was racing up front the whole time. Flowers was up and down for a fifth. Mike Holloway, Chris Worrell, who was involved in a couple incidents. Tom Hilbert with a top 10. That's good for him. Lowell Jewell a ninth, and then rounding out your top 10. Didn't have him on camera the whole time. I think he just weaved his way through all the parked cars at the end. Marino Valente. Partner?
Finishing 11th was the 32 of Trey Bloom. 12th was Jeffrey Kemper. 13, Bobby Hayes. 14th, John Wilson. 15th, Chris Hazlip. Unfortunate night for Ed Foster, finishing 16th tonight with a fast car. 17th is Jeffrey Harden. 18th, Steve Hilbert. 19th is Jeff Sharp. And 20th will be the 7 of Chris Davis.
With that said, we get to talk to the winner, Ruben Altice. We bring him in right now. Ruben is soup up here in the booth. It was a chaotic race from the start. So many big crashes and then one at the very end. Woo! What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was an interesting race. The last caution there, at first I thought it was on me, but I went back and watched the replay, and it looked like Jeffrey just come up into me a little bit. At least that's what I saw. If it was the other way around, I apologize, but that's the way it looked on the replay to me, and it was a lot of fun.
Did you have a good restart on that last restart?
Yeah, I had a good start. I had saved my tires. I had more left in the car, and I figured something out about halfway through the race there and was saving my stuff for the end.
It was fun. You were coming, and then they cleared the way for you. Congratulations on the win. The quiet man, Ruben Altice. Well done, buddy.
Hey, I appreciate it, Soup, and thank y'all up in the booth for broadcasting and Wolf for putting the league on. And it's fun to come here every week and finally get a win. It is just really good.
It is indeed. Ruben Altice, your race winner today. Congratulations. All right, partner, who you got?
All right, finishing in second tonight, I have Kurt Smith in the 6th. Kurt, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, tell me about that last restart there. That had to be chaotic, and you made your way through it.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened up there, but yeah, I saw them two get together and just tried to dodge and kind of got into Ruben a little bit and bounced it off the inside wall. Not the way I want to finish up there, but and Jeffrey, I think, had us covered till that point. Stuck for him, but nice to get a good finish.
Yeah, definitely a good job second place. Just watching you throughout, it's just kind of, Martinsville is, Martinsville kind of deal. And you definitely saw some guys really trying to, bump and bang a little bit. How did your night go? How'd your car feel?
I kind of cooked the tires a little bit earlier there. Kind of got ran up the track a little bit on the one pass there. Kind of put me back there. But other than that, it was a good run. Everybody in this group, races so clean. And there's some bumping, but a track like this, it's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. It's one thing about Martinsville. I talked about the 3-tap Teddy rule, people are in the way, and I think I might have saw it a couple times tonight. But definitely good job, second place finish tonight. Anybody want to thank?
Just you guys up in the booth, the great broadcast you guys do, Lowell for this great league, all the competitors. Like I said, this is a great group of guys to race with. Everyone has a lot of respect on the track, and if somebody gets into you, it's just an accident, and you move on and go on to the next week.
All right, that is your second place finisher, Kurt Smith. Soup, who do you got in third?
Well, I got Adam Shane, who started well back in 19th position inside of the next to the last row. Adam, you do what you do, but that was a messy one. How many were you involved in?
I don't know. Maybe 3, 4. I don't know.
Yeah. Were you clean on the last one, or did you have to park it? You were turned around, I think, on the very last one there, right? And you just got it going first?
No, I was going, I think, the correct way, I believe. I don't know. I was every which way tonight, so I don't know. But yeah, I ended up getting through, and that was. I don't even know what really happened. I haven't looked at the replay.
Yeah, I think even the people involved don't know what happened. It was interesting indeed. We've talked to everybody that said, I don't know what happened. Hey, how are things going for you personally? It's nice to see you in an interview, so we haven't talked to you for a while.
Oh, everything's going great. Family's good, job's good. I mean, sim racing's fun. Tonight was a blast.
Yeah, so. All right. We going to see you more. Got a few more in you on Saturday nights coming up the next couple of months?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I should be here probably the rest of the year.
All right. Well, good deal. Give it a good run. Podium's not a bad way to go on your second race. Well done. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Okay. And just as a public service announcement, if you're in Bakersfield, apparently there's been a small crowd at the local park. They've upended the sandbox and turned over the monkey bars, so avoid that area if all possible if you're in the Bakersfield area. With that said, we'd like to tell you about the broadcasts that are coming up. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. How many places are going to be duplicates? Well, we're going to 5 flags. That'll be fun. New Hampshire, Phoenix. Oh, you can't miss one. We're going to the Brickyard. And if you like Martinsville, we had one last night, we have one tonight, and one more tomorrow. So I hope you got enough room for a couple more hot dogs. All those productions, future past productions of the Virtual Grip Network. With that said, we hope you enjoyed the broadcast. On behalf of all the little faces you see on the screen right now, if not, we'll try to do better next time. Until then, have fun storming the castle.